overstressed or whatever, for sure, like it's worse. Like when our training is really, like volume's really high, I start to hear it a lot.
That's funny because my left eye starts twitching.
Are these signs we shouldn't work out so much? My ears are ringing, your left eye is twitching.
Sometimes that just happens just by going to the board. Like,
oh.
All right, everybody, let's check out today's workout.
I'm fine. Give me a second. I'm fine.
Like, what's wrong with Brett?
can you repeat that again, please?
Yeah. Oh, man. All right, guys. Welcome back to the Coast Range Podcast. Coming at you weekly, kind of. We're trying our best. I'm stockpiling right now.
You are.
I am stockpiling. These are going to come out like back to back to back to back. We're going to make it happen.
Oh, they're not out.
No. I've been stockpiling.
Oh.
By stockpiling, I mean haven't had any time to put them up.
No, I like stockpiling.
Because I like when we get to put out the little newsletter we do with it, you know? And so like the podcast is part of it. Like it's the main part, but then there's also like some other stuff we're doing. And I don't want to like just go back to just putting out the podcast. Like I like doing that. So I'm going to take my time. And when they come out, they'll be special. Stressed.
Look, you've done yourself that.
Stress, tinnitus in the ear.
Not at all.
Awesome, you guys. Well, today we are talking about Enneagrams. Mm-hmm. Did I say that right?
Yeah, totally.
Awesome. This is going to be Natalie's podcast today.
Oh, God.
She made me take an Enneagram test probably like a couple months ago. And I don't know. To begin with, honestly, I'm like not a big fan of these things. I'm always like, what is this thing going to try to tell me I am? And you don't know me. Tell me what I am. Test. So, Brett's on the same page.
Exactly. And just to be clear, Enneagram has nothing to do with Instagram.
Yeah.
I mean, it's trending right now. But
Brett,
anyway.
why do you want me to take an Instagram test?
Yeah, exactly.
I hate Instagram. But, okay, so at first I was like, this is crap. No, like, whatever. And I mainly did it for the coaches. I was like, okay, I'll have the coaches do it. Maybe it'll tell me something about them and how I can communicate better with the coaches. And then, okay, I'll do it, right? And the first time I did it, I just kind of blew it aside. And I didn't even remember what my number was or any of that stuff. And Natalie would ask me, she's like, well, what's your number? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't remember. Then Megan took it. And she was like, you should probably take it again. So I took it again, and it's been creepy. Like now that I've actually paid attention to it and been like, I get the Enneagram thought of the day now in my email, and I'm like,
it's the Ennea thought.
The Ennea thought, yeah. Oh my God, I'm like, get out of my head, Ennea thought. Every single email I get, I'm like, how do you know me?
Stop.
Yeah, it's creepy.
No,
so
totally.
Natalie, tell us about this thing. What is it?
I don't really know when. Well, I was a psych major in college, and I've always been super intrigued by all of that stuff. So personality types are something I'm pretty familiar with, and then I've taken them at past jobs that I've done. But they've always been fascinating to me. The Enneagram seems to be special in my world. I'm not sure why. A lot of my family is really invested in it, which is awesome. So maybe that's kind of why I've taken a little bit more of a keen interest in it. But it's been cool. Just like Wes said, it's I've learned a lot about people, about my spouse, about just people around me, which is really cool. And just like Wes and Brett said, it's some people get caught up in personality tests. Like, it can't tell me what I am or who I am, and that's, I mean, totally. And the Enneagram is only what you're you'll only get out of it what you put into it, right? So people have been studying the Enneagram for like years, like a very long time. And I am definitely not one of those people. I was telling Wes before, like, I don't necessarily consider myself an expert, but I'm definitely someone who's very intrigued by this world. So I'll just give a little background of what I know of the Enneagram, and then we'll just start talking about it. So the Enneagram is essentially a personality type, and it has one of 9. So no number is better than another. Being a 9 is not better than being a 1. And each one has its name, things associated with it, and then it has a basic fear and desire. And I think that that's what I think is the coolest, is each one gives like your basic fear and then your desire. And then from there, it's sort of what your motivations are. So it's different in other personality types in that it's talking more about motivation and not necessarily just the way you act in the world, but kind of why you act that way or why you could potentially act that way. I think at the basic, like most basic place, Ennea means 9. I think that might be Greek. So very simple. There are 9 numbers, and gram, like a diagram. And so if you draw out the Enneagram circle, it has a bunch of lines that point to each other, which is really cool. Now, there are so many aspects of it besides just picking your number. There's like different triads within the diagram, and each number has a wing, and each number has emotion, or like each triad has emotions that are involved with it. So it goes deeper than just like, yeah, you could take the test and figure out your number, and that's cool. But there is so much more than that. And that's what I mean by when you'll only get out of it what you put into it. So I guess just a basic understanding, you have the 9 different numbers. Each one has a name. And then there's 3 different triads. And the first triad is like a 1, a 9, and an 8. And so these are all the instinctive or the gut center.
Okay, I see what you're looking at here.
Yeah, so there's like the 1, 9, and 8 all are instinctive. So they're acting more on gut, and it's just this like instinctual thing.
Just so the people that are listening can kind of understand what we're talking about, there's a big circle, and then at the top of the circle is a 9. To the right is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in like a clock pattern. And it's broken up, and she means triads. There's 3 sections that are broken up almost like a Y. And imagine the arms of a Y forming in the middle of that circle. So this puts at the top of the circle a 1, a 9, and an 8. Then on the right-hand side, or the east side of the circle, is a 2, a 3, and a 4. That's the second triad, right?
Yep.
And then the third one, there's a 5, a 6, and a 7. Okay, keep going.
Yeah. So each one sort of has their basic, it's a center. So you have instinctive, then the 2, 3, and 4 is the feeling center. So they're acting more on feeling. And then the 7, 6, and 5 are on thinking. So each one also has an emotion that are attached to them. And you kind of start to understand that more as you look at what each individual number means. But the instinctive, or the 8, 9, and 1, they're more around anger and rage. And then 2, 3, and 4, their emotion is shame. And then 7, 6, and 5, their emotion is fear. And that only really starts to make sense as you start to look at the characteristics of your number.
Yeah,
but it goes
makes total sense.
I know. Like once you know, like Wes knows his number. And so once he knows his number, he's able to associate those things.
Yeah, I'm definitely emo.
So it kind of like, it makes a little bit more sense. Then there's wings. So once you find out your number, so say I personally am a 7, so my wing could either be a 6 or an 8.
Okay, so a wing is just off of the side of that. So my wing is a 9 or a 2.
You could be a 9 or a 2.
Got you.
Yeah, that's why it was easy for me to guess what your wing was, because I have an idea of what you would be. So that's that's the gist of it, without telling you what the numbers are, which is super confusing. But like I said, the more you dig into it, the more you like have these all epiphany moments when you're kind of figuring out what your numbers are. So I'm just going to go like quickly through what each number is. And then I'd like to talk a little bit about what Wes is, what I am, and then potentially what Brett might be.
Did you take it again last night?
I took it this morning. That's why I sent you guys the
Okay,
my
cool.
scores. So.
Well, and it's interesting because like I have a note on the board is like, how do you figure out your number?
Yeah.
And I think that's like one of the really hot topics in the Enneagram community. And yes, it is a community. Like all the people that are super into Enneagram.
That Enneagram and coffee Instagram is so funny.
It's hilarious.
It's fucking hilarious,
and
dude. It's like they have these memes on there about what you are, basically, based off and they're like funny as hell and so accurate. It's creepy.
Awesome. And it kind of makes this like super serious personality test or personality typing system into like kind of funny, right? Because
because it can definitely like almost like look at my emotion as anger or rage.
Right. So it like the thing that I appreciate about it is that it gives you like great things about yourself, but it can also highlights like the the nasties of who you are and what you can be if you're in the like lowest level of your personality. What is so funny?
Ways to show you care based off of your Enneagram type. Type 1, do it the way you know they like it.
I saw that this morning.
Okay, keep going. Sorry.
Okay, I want to get to what we are because it makes it
Yes.
more intriguing when you kind of know about a person. But a way to kind of figure out your number, one, there's tests. There are tests online that you can take. And I recommend a couple over the others. You can obviously pay for a test. I know not everybody wants to do that. But the Enneagram Institute has a really good one. It's like 150 questions. And that will give you your 3 top. And it shoots back like a PDF to you. And it gives you a PDF of all of your top 3. And that's cool. You can totally take the test. But it's more, I almost think that reading them all and figuring out which one you identify with the most is kind of not a better, but it's also a great way to do it. Or maybe get those top 3 and then decide which one resonates with you. And I would say...
So not even taking the test?
I mean,
you could take the test, but
okay, take Meg, for instance. How many times did she take the test?
I don't know.
She took it a lot of times.
Oh,
like
okay.
she sent me a message and was like, I took it again.
Okay.
I took it again. Because like she didn't quite believe that it was
cool.
her.
Yeah.
And then I think she kind of just got a little bit more into it and was able to say, okay, I'm definitely that.
Yeah, she was able to like choose. Did she get different results each time?
I think that a couple times she got different results.
Okay.
And I've taken it and I can get different results. And I think that like your personality
I was going to say, I feel like my personality changes all the time.
Well, because your emotions change all the time.
Yeah.
So it's easy to like, if I'm taking that test and I'm pissed off, I'm probably going to answer the questions differently.
Totally.
Than if I'm like feeling stress-free and laid back. And so I just think you can misidentify yourself a lot using a test. Like Brett, I mean, for instance, if someone just tells you what you are, I mean, if you're a freaking 5, the investigator, you're not going to be like, oh yeah, I'm that because they said I'm that. You're going to be like, why am I that? Why would they say I'm that? Mm-hmm. Who are you to say that I'm that? You know, and they have to investigate it and kind of like think about it by themselves and try to figure out so it can be more beneficial to just read about them. And I would say when you get to the one where you're reading it and probably reading more of the negative side and you feel like it's yelling at you, that's probably the one that you are. Like when I read the nasty of my side, I feel like it's like they're in front of my face, like yelling at me. And I'm like, oh, I'm definitely a 7 because it totally, like I get that and I don't want to believe it, but it's totally me.
Cool.
So when you take it, you just said, like Meg's taken it, you've taken it, you got different results. Mm-hmm. How different? Were they vastly different from them, or like, oh, just a little off?
Mine
or
weren't.
Like something like, wait, I'm an individualist one day and now I'm a challenger.
Right.
What the hell?
And I'm not saying it's dramatically different. It's definitely not dramatically different. I'm also not saying that you solely have to identify with one number. Like that's the cool thing about it. And they say the Enneagram Institute says this is that you can have pieces of each one, and you can have like extreme pieces of another one. And like an 8 can have the wing of a peacemaker. Don't those seem very different? Mm-hmm. But you can have pieces of all of them, which is cool. And your level of integration or your growth actually points you to another number. So it's more of just figuring out how you can become these other numbers and kind of find who you are in this like ever shifting world of kind of getting away from yourself and kind of making your way back to who you are. There's a book called The Road Back to You. I recommend it if you're interested in reading, but it kind of, it gives you in depth about all of them, like really in depth about all of them. So it's not necessarily saying you have to be exactly one type, but there is going to be one that you definitely are more than the others. So like, for instance, Sam and I are both 7s, which is an enthusiast, and Sam and I are so different, like very different. We're talking about it on a drive this weekend. And he doesn't necessarily like identify with 7s are pretty spontaneous and like they're always looking for the next thing to do because they're trying to cover up like a fear of they're trying to numb things really. And so they're flighty and they'll get into a lot of things and
instead of focusing on whatever it is that
issue. They're doing. Or just being like, I'm always like, what's next? What else can I do? Yeah. Versus like just sitting. And Sam is not really like that. Like he's super present and he doesn't think about 90 million things next. He's very good at being there. So we're both 7s, definitely, but he's a very different 7 than I am. Okay, so there's 9 types. First one's a reformer. They're principled, purposeful, self-confident, and perfectionistic. The helper is generous, demonstrative, people-pleasing, and possessive. You'll notice the first 2 are like kind of positive and the second 2 are kind of negative.
What's demonstrative?
Don't know. Let's look it up.
Cool. Hey, Siri. Hey, Siri. What's demonstrative?
It gave us something about a monster. And then a 3 is an achiever. They're adaptable, excelling, driven, and image-driven. The individualist, which is a 4, is expressive, dramatic, self-absorbed, and temperamental. Demonstrative.
Tending to show feelings, especially of affection, openly.
There you go.
Cool.
They showed their feelings. The 5 is an investigator. They're perceptive, innovative, secretive, and isolated. The loyalist is a 6. They're engaging, responsible, anxious, and suspicious. The 7 is the enthusiast. They're spontaneous, versatile, acquisitive, and scattered. 8 is a challenger. They're like the leader, self-confident, decisive, willful, and confrontational. And then the 9 is a peacemaker. They're receptive, reassuring, complacent, and resigned. So that kind of gives all of the different ones, and you can get so in depth about each one. I think the coolest part is looking at each one of the fears and motives. I think that tells me a ton about each one of them.
Okay.
But let's kind of get into that while talking about what Wes is.
All right. Let's do it. Tell me who I am.
Well, you know who you are. I mean, Wes
I've been going back and forth between a 1 and a 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And I think the more, so it's hard. Like, you don't want to type other people. Like, I don't want to tell Wes he's a 1. Like, I don't want to say you're a 1 because
you did say that, though.
I know. Because shoot.
I was like, what do you think? You're a 1.
When Brett texted us last night and was like, I don't want to take the test. Like, I don't like answering. He just had all these qualms about like taking the test.
Right. It's like, I don't like questions or like, tell me,
like
you were based
strong-holding
on
me.
one or, you were this or that. It's
Yeah.
like,
I don't know.
I don't really care. So I don't see it as black and white.
Yeah. Or like right now I feel this way, but tomorrow I might feel different, right? Like answering the exact same question.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and my response was I could probably guess your Enneagram number just from this conversation. And Wes was like, what is it? And I didn't want to say because I didn't want it to be what Brett, like I didn't want it to influence what Brett thought. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I do that with fictional characters all the time. Like the Enneagram in Coffee has like the Office characters, and like you can totally do that with other people. So it's awesome.
Who's the 1 on The Office?
I don't remember.
Oh, we gotta find out. That's too good.
So Wes is, I think he's a 1.
Careful.
A reformer. And
careful.
There's like a few reasons why, or personally why I think that, and he can agree or disagree. But he's rational idealistic. So the reformer, rational idealistic, they're principled, self-controlled, perfectionist, and they're conscious and ethical. So the fear, 1's basic fear is of being corrupt. That is like one of the biggest things that I think makes you a reformer, because so we had this conversation as a team the other day. We talked about like what our expectations of the team are, and we talked about being on the competition floor. And one of Wes's biggest things that he noted was we want to be like ethical. We want our reps to count. Like that's more important than winning, like in Wes's mind. And I was like, he's such a 1. He's such a 1. Like, because that is his motive.
Yeah.
And that's what makes 1 so awesome is they're like self-confident and they want it to be this way because it's the right thing. Not just because they want it to be right, but because that's the right thing to do.
That's why I haven't gone back to the games.
Because I locked my reps out.
That was a no rep. They're like, no, you're fine. Like, it was a no rep.
I'll do it again. And then the desire is to be good, to have integrity and to be balanced. And that's like one of what?
I wouldn't say I'm balanced though.
Well, then you don't have to be. But do you want integrity?
But the desire to be balanced, yes, for sure.
There you go.
And I'm working on that 100%. Like I'm trying to be less like neurotic and crazy one way or the other, because that's what I totally am. I'm either like, we're training and I'm 100% this way, or I'm like, at the clawdaw. You know?
So that's
and I'm trying to be way more balanced. Yeah.
Totally.
Okay.
And
So
that's one of your desires is to be balanced.
okay. So that was a desire.
Yeah.
Read those to me again. What were my desires?
To be good, to have integrity,
Yes.
and to be balanced.
Yes. Those are my desires.
Totally.
100%.
Totally.
I wouldn't say that they're things I do all the time, but it's definitely what I desire to be. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. And then the motivations, they want to be right. They want to strive higher and improve all the time. They're consistent with ideals. They want to justify themselves, and they want to be beyond criticism. Like, you don't want people to have a reason to say you're wrong.
Yeah.
Because you want to be right. Mm-hmm. And a really healthy you wants to be right because it's the right thing.
Yeah.
A really unhealthy you wants to be right because you're right.
That's what I was going to ask. So what's the unhealthy side of that? Yeah.
And we can look at that, but you have a sense of mission.
Real quick, guys, if you've seen the board when Nat writes on the board with her writing and everything, her notepad that has all this stuff is written exactly the same way. It's like, are you kidding me?
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Makes me happy.
That's a thing. I do that a lot.
Anyway.
So yeah, that's Wes in the. Okay. I mean, it's not all you, but then I think we can look at the wings of Wes, and he doesn't know what his wing is.
Yeah.
But so he's a 1, so there's either a 2 or a 9. A 2 is the helper.
That's to the right of me on this circle, and then a 9 is to the left.
Yep, and the 9 is a peacemaker. So that he kind of gets to, and it's the 2. I can see both in you.
Yeah,
like I can totally see both in you.
So the helper is generous, demonstrative, people pleasing, and possessive. I'm definitely people pleasing. Mm-hmm. Like, I do not like confrontation for sure. I mean, I don't know. I don't like confrontation, but I don't mind confrontation if it's
right.
deserved.
If it's doing the right thing.
Yeah, if it's deserved, I don't mind it. But like weird, stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Like people leave their bags downstairs, and we sent out that thing, and I don't say anything
because
they'll put it there, and I'm like, is that where you want to put your bag? Okay, we can leave it there. That's fine. That's fine. Is that nice for you? Okay, we'll leave it there. Possessive, generous. I don't think I'm very generous.
Yes, you are.
I don't think so.
I do.
Yeah.
I don't. Okay. Receptive.
Yeah, okay.
Reassuring, complacent, resigned. I don't think I'm okay, so you could take pieces of each one of these.
Totally. You have pieces of all of them.
Yeah, okay.
So,
but then I could just say that like I have pieces of all of these then. You know, I could be like, I'm a 1 through a 9.
You could definitely be. And just to throw this out there, which makes it more confusing, is so there's directions of integration or growth. And as you start to get healthier or to grow positively, you start to integrate towards this different number. And this is the direction of integration. So you're a 1, and your direction of integration is to a 9.
Like that's what I need to try to do.
Or not necessarily need to try to do, but as you're getting healthier, you will
notice these characteristics show up more and more and more in my
the
life.
Positives of
being
a 9.
Receptive, reassuring, complacent, and resigned. Like being more like my wife. Because Megan is a 9.
Exactly.
And she's way more like spontaneous and way more chill and and that's what I'm trying to pull myself more towards. Okay, makes sense.
And
but then what's the stuff after that? Oh, so it goes like 1, 9, 3.
No, it don't. This is just the order it goes in. So 1 goes to a 7. A
7 goes to a 5. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so I'm trying to be more, not trying to be, but if I am,
you will notice tendencies of a positive 9 as you're growing.
Gotcha.
So as you start to become healthy and are growing, you'll start to see those things. And it's awesome that your wife's a 9 because then you that's demonstrated to you all the time.
That is true. Very cool.
Awesome. And that's the other cool thing about the Enneagram is when we took it as a team, you can read how different numbers are in relationship with each other.
Yeah, we were looking at that and it was not good.
You and Meg?
Yeah.
A 1 and a 9?
Yeah, it was not good.
Oh, that's so interesting.
It was like... Basically, like, you guys will not going to end up together.
Well, because I think it gives the good and compatibility with other types. It gives you the good and the bad. Well, it gives potential trouble spots, which is cool. Awesome. So we think Wes is a 1. We haven't figured out his wing yet, but my guess is it's a 9.
Well, the 9 makes sense, especially if that's where I like the direction of integration. That's where I want to go to. And it makes sense for me because I am trying to be way more balanced. Like I'll have a glass of wine with Meg at night. And that's normally something I would not do. Like I'd be like, nope, I'm training. It's the way it is. You know what I mean? But that makes me a little bit more complacent and resigned, right? And so that makes sense.
Yeah. Awesome. And then I am a 7. And I'm a 7. Like a lot. I have a lot of 7. And the 7 is the enthusiast, which is spontaneous, versatile, acquisitive, and scattered. I totally see all of those things in myself. And I get the Ennea thought a day, which if you take the test or you figure out what number you are and you're interested in that, it's totally easy. You just go to the Enneagram Institute. And you literally just put in your email and tell them what number you are and you sign up for it. And it sends you these things every day. And they're actually super helpful. Like I spend time. Some of them don't necessarily trigger anything for me. But some, like I could spend hours thinking about like what it means and what it's telling me to do, which is awesome. But I believe that I'm a 7-wing 8. So I sway to the challenger, so the self-confident, decisive, willful, and confrontational side. The opposite is the 6, which is totally my husband. So he's the 7-wing 6. I'm the 7-wing 8.
Okay, gotcha.
Which is the 6 is the loyalist. So engaging, responsible, anxious, and suspicious. And he is totally a loyalist. Or has tendencies of a loyalist. I could totally see that as his wing. And the 7-wing 6 is also an entertainer. And
so you're a wing
that.
8?
Yeah.
You're going to tell people put their bags upstairs then?
I have.
Okay, because you're confrontational.
On occasion. And also, I have told people to put their bags upstairs, and I feel bad doing it every time, but I'm like,
man.
This is my job. I'm supposed to do this. It's funny. You can read like what different people were, or it says on the 7's bio, it has a list of all the people that are 7s. And I sent Wes a text last night, and Osama bin Laden was a 1.
Oh, yeah. 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 I got that. I didn't know what to think. I was just like, oh.
Well, Sam and I were reading through it, and Sam was like, text Wes. Tell him Osama bin Laden was a 1. And I was like, oh, that's
Who
funny.
else was a 1?
So let me get this straight. Bin Laden, hiding in the mountains of freaking Afghanistan from smart bombs, is taking the Enneagram.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I think someone probably classifies
Probably.
them.
Gotcha.
Like the people that do this for a living.
That's pretty funny, though, just
so,
to think about that.
Different ones we have.
Yeah, I want to see who else is on that list besides bin Laden.
Are you sure? I like bin Laden.
What?
I'm just kidding. Let's see. You have Confucius, Plato. I don't know how to read some of these. Joan of Arc. Oh, Gandhi.
Hey, okay.
Nelson
Gandhi.
Mandela.
Hey.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And
Margaret
you sent
Thatcher.
me Osama bin Laden.
It was funny. He's also at the bottom.
Out of all of those people that you could have been like, hey, guess who you are?
I don't know. Michelle Obama. Al Gore. Hillary Clinton. Wow.
So you're a politician.
I guess so.
Which is funny because
if
you read mine are like kind of embarrassing, which I don't actually mean that, but like Britney Spears is a 7. And I was like, dang it. It's like the Dalai Lama, Galileo, Mozart, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, Amelia Earhart. I like that one.
Yeah.
Along with Goldie Hawn, George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Robin Williams, Jim Carrey, Mike Myers, Bruce Willis, Britney Spears, Cameron Diaz,
Bruce Willis,
Miley Cyrus.
They're all actors and entertainers.
They're entertainers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, some are. I mean, I would probably say that like Benjamin Franklin and Amelia Earhart were probably 7-wing 8s. So they're more
you're a 7-wing 6.
No, Sam's a 7-wing 6. I'm a 7-wing 8.
Oh, you're a 7-wing 8. Okay.
So Sam's the Britney Spears and the Miley Cyrus and the Mick Jagger and the Elton John.
Oh yeah, duh.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
He's an entertainer.
Yeah. If you guys haven't heard Sam,
he's okay.
Sing and play the guitar. He is amazing. He signed up for The Voice, right?
Well, he signed up for a audition on The Voice.
Yes.
Yeah. I never thought he'd do that.
Sick.
But the fear of an enthusiast is being deprived and in pain, which I wouldn't want to say that, but it's totally true because Wes asks me all the time how I'm doing, and my response is always,
I'm fine.
I'm good.
I'm totally fine. I'm like, no, now you're limping. What is wrong with you?
I'm fine.
I'm totally fine.
And then the desire is contentment, satisfaction and having my needs met. So interesting. And then the motivations are to maintain freedom, happiness, avoid missing out, which is so accurate because I have so much FOMO all the time, and keeps myself excited and occupied. So there are huge sides of the enthusiast that I identify with. And I think the way that I express emotion or hard times is one of them. Like as I do more research about my personality type, the enthusiast, like we're super capable of having deep conversation, but I'm always going to give you the positive side of it. Like if you want to go to somebody to like cry and have them like validate your sadness, you should go to a 4. Because they'll sit there and like let you be like that and give you, yes, totally Connor, will like give you this place to be like that. I will give you all of the ways that we can make it better.
And what will I do?
And you will.
You need more discipline. You need to figure this out.
Why is this happening to you?
This is your fault. You put yourself here. You need to dig yourself out of this hole.
It's really funny because we took this as a team, and we believe that Wes is a 1, Connor's a 4, and Kelly is either an 8 or 9. Mm-hmm. And we almost...
So we cover all the triads.
We cover all the triads, which is rad.
That's a perfect team.
I would say so.
Well, as long as you know how to communicate.
Right.
Yeah.
And what I thought was... I don't know, it's cool. Like, as a business owner, you can think about the kind of people you need on your team. Like, to run things. Like, you have a lot of helpers on your staff, which is awesome when they're in their healthy spot. But when they're not in their healthy spot, it could be bad because you've got a bunch of 2s. And so they might all, like, no one does it as good as me. Or, like, why doesn't everyone do it like this? Like, why doesn't everyone care as much as this? Or they can't possibly care as much as I care. Whereas on the other side, they are extremely generous and will like show you feeling and emotion in all the right ways, which I totally feel on our staff. Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
100%. Like Amanda, Amy, and Adelina.
Yeah. Anytime anybody needs anything,
they're right there.
Yeah, totally.
Like they are right there. And I would say that they all have so many positive qualities of a helper. Uh-huh. Like I feel it. When you walk in the room, I feel it. Like they're just ready to like be with you and help you. But like thinking about it, I probably, as an enthusiast, I totally need 5 friends. Someone who's going to like kind of caution me towards things, away from things.
Perceptive, innovative, secretive, and isolated. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, so they're going to kind of like, hey, chill out.
Or like think about this a little bit more. Whereas I'm like, hey, let's just do this. Hey, let's do this. Because it seems like we could probably do this. Like, let's do it.
Yeah.
Whereas... sometimes I need to be slowed down a little bit. Yeah,
that's Meg with me. Mm-hmm. For sure. So maybe she's a 9, so she could be an 8 or a 1. 8 or a 1. She's definitely not a 1.
I could see her being a challenger.
Yeah. Oh,
totally.
Yeah.
Confrontational, self-confident, decisive, and willful.
Yeah, she's definitely a 9 wing 8 for sure.
Brett, what did you say? You took a test. He reluctantly took a test.
No, I didn't reluctantly. I said, take the test. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
It's your job on the line.
Exactly. No.
Hey, at least you're not Osama bin Laden.
Yeah, exactly.
The 9 with
I was a 6'2",
Oh.
6 wing 5. There you go. 6, the loyalist, engaging, responsible, anxious, and suspicious. Wing 5, investigator, perceptive, innovative, secretive, and isolated.
So how did you get to a 6 wing 5?
So you're a 6,
right?
And then your wing is either a 5 or a 7.
Oh, okay.
And then you look at the 7, enthusiast, spontaneous,
sometimes,
versatile, acquisitive, scattered.
Never.
So disciplined.
The 6 with a 5 wing is called the defender, and the 6 with a 7 wing is called the buddy.
I would put you. I don't know.
I picked a 5 for Brett.
I would say you're a defender for sure.
What books are you reading right now?
A nutrition book, a science book. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's basically the 2 I have, and. Yeah.
What's the science book called? What's it about?
It's a bro.
It's it's one of the Neil deGrasse Tyson books.
Yeah. Okay. Who reads Neil deGrasse Tyson books? What's it about? It's about like astrophysics. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 5s read astrophysics.
Innovative.
Books. 7s don't read astrophysics books.
Scattered, spontaneous. Yeah, that's true.
I don't read astrophysics books.
For sure. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay.
That's why I thought you were.
So you're a
5.
6-wing 5.
Like
so you're a
5s
loyalist and investigator.
Like they think deep.
Mm-hmm.
And like they can. Are you an extrovert or introvert?
Both.
Don't know. Both. Yeah. So is Sam. He's extrovertedly introverted.
I like to hang out with people. Then sometimes I just want to just
recharge.
Be on my own.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel the same way. But that's kind of why I thought you were a 5, because I think that your intellect lends to a 5. Like I feel like you're a very deep thinker, which is something I can do on occasion. Like I can do it when I really need to, but it's hard for me to stay engaged for too long.
Yeah. Somebody told me about another test that you can take to help find out what your work productivity like
Strength finders?
I don't, maybe. No, it was like a Dougman something or like he was telling me like he took this test and it told him that basically he should never start a task without having to do like a checklist to finish that task because he'll always get like halfway through it, scattered, go on to something else and never finishes things. And so, and he took this test and told him how to do it.
Was it just called a productivity?
No, I don't think so.
That's cool. I mean, I probably need to
that's
take
cool.
it. I probably need to take it.
I was pulling this up because we were talking about introvert, extrovert. My sister-in-law, Lindsay, posted this. She said, I'm an extroverted introvert. That means I'll either talk your ear off like I've done 3 lines of Coke, taken 30 milligrams of Adderall, and drank 7 cups of coffee, or I'll be Buddhist monk, vow of silence, mute. There is no in between.
That's so accurate. Has she taken the Enneagram? I wonder what Enneagram number she is.
No.
So,
I don't think so.
6s, you have Prince Harry, J.R. Tolkien, Mike Tyson, Bruce Springsteen.
You gotta go to the Tyson Ranch, dude.
U2's Bono, Mel Gibson, Meg Ryan, Julia Roberts. Come on, Jennifer Aniston.
God, no.
Hey, Jennifer Aniston. That's
Ellen
cool.
DeGeneres. She's rad.
She's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's Chris Rock.
He's cool. There's a lot of cool people on that list.
Seinfeld's George Costanza. I don't watch Seinfeld.
Oh, what?
What?
You don't watch Seinfeld?
I don't watch.
You
Oh, also Frodo Baggins.
Who?
Frodo Baggins from Lord of the Rings.
God. I'm a dwarf. I'm a hobbit.
You went from Jennifer Aniston to Frodo Baggins.
Exactly. And Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson and Jennifer
Mike
Aniston.
Tyson's badass, though.
Oh, he's a smart dude. I mean, he's not.
So, okay. I think a good place to kind of take this to is we've been using the Enneagram, Wes and I specifically, and he's obviously mentioned that he's done it with his staff. Our staff? The staff that I'm on? The staff at Coaster.
The staff that includes me?
Yeah.
So he's used it there, but we've also been digging into it as a team. And I think that that's, like I said at the beginning, it's only what you put into it that you're going to get out of it. And I think that it's been a center point for us. Like we've recently been sending each other our Ennea thoughts because they're very accurate. They're accurate, and it's helpful for me to know those things about my teammates. Mm-hmm. And we have some pretty opposite ends of the spectrum, which is great. Like Connor's a 4, so he's an individualist. He's expressive, dramatic, self-absorbed, and temperamental, which sounds awful when I read it like that, but it's just he's okay feeling all of the ends of his emotions. Like he feels sadness, he feels these ways, and that's why 4s are so rad, because they feel all of these things about the world, whereas I don't like to feel sadness, and so I move away from it. So having a Connor in my life is beneficial for me because I get to see that being like that sometimes is okay. Like,
well, recognizing your feelings, not running away from them,
right,
but dealing with them.
Right. And like, and actually feeling like there can be beauty in sadness. Like that is totally a 4.
Yeah.
Like they're like that's awesome. They're usually very artistic and they can make things beautiful because they can experience all of those emotions. Mm-hmm. And then Wes is a 1. I need that. Like, I need a 1 to keep me on track, to like show me what things are for and how I can get them done. And I think that relationship is super positive as well. And then Kelly being a challenger, I think she's kind of swayed with being an 8. She's like totally a leader and decisive, and she knows what she wants, and she'll have a confrontation with you if she needs to, and not in a mean way.
No, but she's always the one that's like pulling us together before practice and being like, guys,
we need to talk about this.
What do we need to do today, and how are we going to, instead of us just being like, let's train.
Let's do this stuff.
Yeah, she keeps us on track for sure.
And this was super funny, like noticing all of we were training at Central. It was Connor, Kelly, and I. We were training at Central on Saturday morning. I had to go early, and so they came with me, and we were doing the class WOD. And it was kind of a weird scheme. Not that weird, but it was a 20-minute AMRAP, so as many rounds and reps as possible in 20 minutes, of 3, 6, 9, 12, going on as far as you can, of dumbbell power cleans, so 2 dumbbells, and then pull-ups. And you were with a partner, and you could complete the reps however you want. And in Connor's mind, he was like, you can, like 3, 6, like you should trade off. Like we should trade off. And so we decided, we were like, let's just trade off. Like I'll do 3, you do 3, you do 3. Then I'll do 6, you do 6, you do 6. We're like, let's add a third person. No big deal. And I saw them both like, that's kind of a big deal. What if this doesn't work? Like this, like what if, and I was like, oh, it's going to work.
And that's totally like when we talk about workouts and stuff, and they're like, well, okay, well, how many calories are we going to do on the bike? I'm like, well, we'll just get off when we feel like getting off, and then you'll get on and you should get on.
And I don't think about that kind of stuff.
No. Like, we need a plan.
They need a plan.
Yeah.
And like I do within reason, because I know it makes other people feel better.
Yeah.
And I want everyone to be happy.
Yeah.
But it was so funny to see how it played out, because I was like, Connor was like, you can't change it in the middle. And I was like, yeah, you can. Like, if it doesn't work, then we change it. Like, it's not a big deal. And it was so funny because you saw all of our numbers kind of come out in that moment. And I was like, you're such a 4. And it was just funny to see. And kind of it helps us interact with each other. So
let's talk about how somebody can actually use this to their advantage. Mm-hmm. So they take the test. Mm-hmm. How do they read the test?
Well, it usually, most of the tests are really, they give you a lot of information. So it'll break it down way better than I've broken it down, honestly. Like, it gives you all of those things. And if you go on Enneagram Institute and go to like their description of the Enneagram, again, it'll explain it way better than I did for you. And you can see all the little diagrams. And then I think that one of the most positive things is reading about the things that you should do. Like, it gives you, how do they state it? It gives you like things you should do and your levels of development. So personal growth recommendations for your type, and it will tell you kind of what to do and how to like interact with the world or how to think about things.
Gotcha. Which
is cool. Which is super helpful for me. Like, my Ennea thought is always like, slow down and be present. And I'm like, what? I got stuff to do.
Yeah, I think that was like the most powerful thing that I got out of it was, besides that Ennea thought of the day that it sends me in the morning, and I'll look at that and I'm like, okay, some things to think about today. Like, don't run away from these things.
Right.
But it really just forced me to kind of go like, okay, look, this is who you are. Yes. I'm like, yeah, this is who I am. Okay, great. But who do you want to be? Right? And then I'm always asking myself that question. Am I happy with who I am right now? And do I need to do something to change that? Because like, my ultimate goal is when I'm laying on my deathbed that, there's a million people around the world going like, this is going to be a loss to this world. And like, we need to do stuff to make sure we make more of this person. And so I'm always asking myself that question of like, am I doing the things to make a positive effect on this world? And that you stray from that if you don't think about it all the time, because you just fall into your natural habits and things you want to do and the things, you know what I mean? And so that's the first thing it did, is it made me go like, okay, well, this is who you are. But then it made me go, is this who you want to be? And no, I don't. like, I don't want to always be a perfectionist, and I don't want to always be the super disciplined guy, because I recognize that, like, for my family and my mental health, like, that's not good for forever to be like all the time rolling my shirts up and stuff. Like, I need to have a little bit of spontaneity, and I need to be able to be like, if somebody goes, hey, let's go do this, I'm like, all right, cool, let's do it. And it doesn't eat me up inside, because I should be meal prepping or
right.
you know what I mean, or doing whatever else.
But don't lose the positive side of the reformer as well.
Yeah.
And that's what I think that it is important, like, for you specifically saying that is, like, you do want to be a 1. Like, there are aspects of 1 that I think I possess, and I think that I should have more of.
But it's
about, a matter of acquiring all of the positives.
Yeah, but it's about, for me, it's like not just being a 1.
Right.
Like,
right.
but allowing myself to be part of a 9.
Mm-hmm,
you know what I mean? And, like, because that's what I need to work more on, is just being more balanced and everything, and, like, allowing myself just to be like, it's okay if things don't go according to plan, you know?
Well, and if you were a 1 and all you had was friends that were 1s, then you're not going to see the other sides. But, like, I don't know, encouraging people around you to take the test, and then you can learn more about the people that are close to you as well. Yeah. Which I super like my whole family knows what number they are, and we'll talk about it, which is really cool. Yeah. So I think that taking it, figuring out what number you are, and if you need to take a test or read them and find what identifies with you. And then from there, like, getting people around you to take it, because then it's something that you're actively pursuing with other people. And it because it can get a little dark. Like, if you, like, personally, and maybe this is just a 7 speaking, but it can talk a lot about, like, some of the hurt you experience. And when it talks about, like, the nasty sides of you, it can be hard. But having someone else to kind of look at the positives in you in you as well is also good. Yeah. So I would say, figure out what you are, sign up for the Ennea Thought, and send it to me all the time, because I love seeing what other people's numbers are. And I've been really careful to not type other people lately. Like, I feel like I can put a number on someone, but then I'm realizing, like, you probably shouldn't tell people you think you know what number they are, because then I'm making the decision for them. Yeah. But it's cool to, like, know what numbers everybody is. It helps you interact with them better and give them the things that they need. Yeah. Which is good.
Totally. This is, like, such a powerful tool as a coach.
Yeah. Well, and after Connor figured out he was an individualist, he did it with Sam here at the gym, and they, like, talked about it, and he identifies a lot. Like, he'll tell you, he identifies a lot with the individualist. And he, like, came down afterwards, and he was like, yeah, he was in a crappy mood the day before. He just wasn't feeling like himself. He was just kind of like
Connor.
Yeah, he's just like internal and feeling kind of like stuck in his thoughts. And he straight up said, if you would have done the things that the recommendations it had to me that day, I would have felt so much better. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that would have been great to know. So, yeah, I think it can be a really, really positive tool if you use it.
What do you think, Brett?
It's interesting, definitely interesting. I didn't dive into it as much as Nat has done. I did the test, and then I watched the video that he has on his page, and
that's cool.
That was basically it.
Yeah.
Did you sign up for the Ennea Thought of the day?
No, I didn't know you can. I didn't know that. I mean, after that, I was like, okay.
That's been pretty cool for me. Yeah. Because I'm kind of like on the same side you are a little bit, Brett, where I'm like pretty skeptical of these things, you know, and I'm like, I don't know. But the Enneagram, or the Ennea Thought of the day has been pretty cool. Like, you get in your email each morning, and let's see what mine was. I haven't looked at it yet today. And it just kind of like tells you, like, hey, just be thoughtful of these things, because this is kind of the person that you are. Mm-hmm. Let's see. What did it tell me today?
Got it.
The Ennea Thought of the day. Reflect on this teaching. Awareness is vitally important in the work of transformation, because the habits of our personality let go most completely when we see them in the moment as they are occurring. What the fuck does that mean?
I know. See, there are some where you have to read it like 12 times, and some where you're like, whoa, I don't want to read that again.
Awareness is vitally important in the work of transformation, because the habits of our personality let go most completely when we see them in the moment as they're occurring. Oh, so like recognizing if I'm being self-confident, a perfectionist, principled, purposeful, or even the 9, receptive, reassuring, complacent, or resigned, like when those things come up, like recognizing it and being like, okay, hey, that was part of who you are or trying to become. Okay.
Mine yesterday was remember that 7s have a problem with anxiety. 7s distract themselves and stay on the move as a defense against experiencing anxiety. All it says at the end is watch for this tendency in yourself today. Like that those are just huge. Like no, we don't ask ourselves to watch different things that we do daily. And the fact that you can kind of like pinpoint things and realize like, I don't have to be anxious about that.
Yeah. Just slow down.
Right. Like I don't need to be. And I love the Enneagram thought. I post it on my Instagram all the time. Like, and I get feedback, which is awesome. Like people are like, I'm a this. And they'll say, mine said this. And I think that's so cool.
Really, this is just an exploration into getting to know yourself more, right?
Yeah.
That's like really all it is.
And getting yourself back to who you are.
Yeah. It's like just take the time. I mean, we do that with everything we do, right? Like when somebody tries to start working out, like they're trying to find the person they knew they once were. You know, they're like, this person I am right now is not me. This way I feel, this way I look is not me. It's not who I want to be. So I'm going to start working out and I'm going to push myself to be the person that I want to be.
Or know you can be.
Yeah. Or like somebody signs up for nutrition coaching and same thing. They're like, I just don't like where I'm at right now. And I know this is not how I want to feel. So I'm finding different avenues to be, feel, or become the person that I want to be. And this is another step in that. It's just a way for you to sit down and to look at like, okay, well, where are you now? Who do you want to be? And then what can you do to make those steps to kind of start being that person that you want to be? So it's just another step. It's just another thing. And it's been super awesome for me now that I'm actually like taking a moment to really look at it and go, okay, for me as a business owner, teammate, husband, how can I use these traits that I have to better the people around me and communicate with them? Mm-hmm. Like that's the most important part. Like how do I communicate with them so that we get stuff done? Right. And that they know that they're appreciated. Because for me, like a lot of things like I won't say things to anybody. I'm like, oh, they must know they're doing a good job, you know, and I don't actually communicate that with them and let them know that they're doing a good job because, hey, no news is good news where I come from. So cool. Yeah. I like it a lot.
Yeah. And people always ask me, why not this test or why not this test? And
yeah.
Totally. Like I've taken a lot of them. I know what I am Myers-Briggs wise. Like I've done strength finders and they're awesome. Mm-hmm. This is just one that I identify with. It gives a different side. It's based on motivation. And I think that it goes deep on more of like a spiritual level too. And it's cool. It goes really, really deep.
Yeah.
Which I super appreciate.
Yeah, it was almost kind of overwhelming at first, to be honest with you, like the wings and like even looking at it now, you know, like now that you've kind of explained it a little bit more, maybe we should do like a video on that and like you kind of explaining what that is, the triads and everything, because I was super confused and like I'm still kind of confused on like what are all of the drawings? Like where's the 1 going down to a 4 that comes up to a 2 and then over to an 8 and then down to like what is that? Mm-hmm.
Well,
what are those lines?
So one, like a two can integrate integrate to a 4. Oh, good. That's right. Okay. I wanted to make sure that was right. Yeah. And then the negative aspect can be a 2 going to an 8.
Oh.
So in a negative sense or a stress sense, they can go to the negatives of an 8.
Wait, okay. So a 1 can go to a 4?
A 1 positively goes to a 7. Wait, yes.
Okay.
A 1 integrates to a 7.
Okay.
And then which actually makes sense because when you read how you and I interact with each other, I bring spontaneity to the
scattered. Mm-hmm. That's it's definitely
I bring
and then but negatively would be a 4. Mm-hmm. Dramatic, self-absorbed, temperamental. I'm already temperamental.
You get
enough.
like introverted and you kind of think you wallow.
I am that already.
Totally.
Yeah.
So you identify with the negatives of that side.
Got you. So I actually don't want to necessarily be going towards, because there's a 1-7 right there, but then if you look further down the line, there's a 1-9. Yeah. What's that about?
I don't know. I'd have to look.
Okay. So, because a 7 makes more sense to me. Like trying to be a 7, more spontaneous, more scattered, more acquisitive, more versatile. Like that makes a ton of sense. But a 9, like being reassuring, complacent, resigned, like I don't know. Like that, those aren't qualities where I'm like, yeah, I want to be more of that. But a 7, more spontaneous, definitely. Megan, like there's one story Megan tells me.
It's like this.
Oh, is it different?
Wait. And then underneath it is 963. So they're not attached.
Okay, gotcha.
Or a 9639. 9639.
Is that 1 on the end supposed to be there then after the 4?
Yeah, because a 4 integrates to a 1 and then break.
So a 7. Okay, so
6.
that makes more sense.
Totally.
Okay, totally. Yeah, that is definitely more what I like. Megan went to Costa Rica this one time with her dad, and they literally didn't have a hotel to stay in. They didn't know what they just traveled around and found like hostels, and like I was like, that's my freaking nightmare. So she wants to, and a 6.
So positively integrates, a 9 positively integrates towards a 6.
So we're both integrating towards a 6.
No,
so
you're integrating towards a 7.
Oh, a 7. That's right. She's engaging, responsible, anxious, and yeah, for sure. That's definitely what she's not. You know, like, yeah. Okay, cool.
Which is,
Gotcha.
There are just like so many levels of it, which is, I mean, we didn't even look at the emotions of each one.
There's so much to do.
Yeah. It really, though.
Yeah, seriously. We're going to do a video on this.
And if you, like, over here, I'm in the thinking triad.
Yeah.
And which means I'm negative on the doing triad, which makes total sense. Because I'll scheme up all of the ideas in the world, but sometimes I don't finish projects that I start. And so makes total sense. Whereas, like, looking at all of the others, like, you're great at doing. 9s, 8s, 1s are great at doing. And so I want to have a lot of 9s and 8s and 1s as friends because they're going to keep me on track.
Gotcha. Cool.
Which is cool.
So where do they go? The test I took didn't cost any money.
Nope.
I did it to EnneagramTest.net, I think, or something like that. So you don't have to pay for this, but if the one that you do on Enneagram, the one that you do on
Enneagram Institute
is just way more in depth.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's like 150 questions, and it gives you like a lot of information on the back end.
Do you know how much it costs?
$12.99.
Oh, okay, so not bad.
It's not crazy. I took one that was $10 on WEPS, WEPS.com. And I've taken it several times since then, but more just because of spontaneity.
Yeah, yeah.
But mostly I know that I'm a 7.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Awesome, you guys. Well, if you have any more questions about this stuff, let us know at the Coast Range Podcast on Instagram. You can find me at WestPie2013 on Instagram.
Nat loves you 22.
And Brett is not with us anymore. He's dealing with somebody who just came in, but he is nutrition_Brett.
I think there's another underscore.
Look it up quick.
Nutrition_Brett_. No, nutrition by Brett.
Nutrition_by_Brett. Find him there. And ask us any questions about this stuff that you guys might have. If you need any help with your guys' nutrition stuff, we're there for you as well at Coast Range Nutrition. Or if you're looking to give a CrossFit a try, hit us up at Coast Range CrossFit. We're here for you. We will see you guys soon.